Hello and welcome. You join me, ADG, and here we are once again back on Gran Turismo to watch a replay back this time. So last night I had a bit of fun in Pedro's lobby. He normally does a Friday night fun lobby, just for anyone to be able to join and just have a good couple of races. Really, more fun than anything else. But there is points that are noted down and the results are taken down. But yeah, generally it's just a bit of fun. But we do end up with some really good drivers in here. I think I've been involved for about 3 weeks now. This has been going on for a long time, but it's getting more and more popular. So I keep jumping in early, making sure I've got a spot. But what I've noticed over the weeks is there's some really good drivers in this. It's really, really competitive. So it might only be for fun, but this is some of the best racing I've done for a while. Very, very, very competitive throughout the field. Anyway, without much further ado, we have a 20-minute race around Spa-Francorchamps. This was a particular highlight out of the two races that I did last night, and hopefully you'll see why. I'm just going to commentate over the replay of my own race, and yeah, hopefully we'll have a bit of fun watching it. I've certainly made some good moves in this race, and the opening lap's one to watch. So we're in the Audi TT, 20-minute race around Circuit Spa-Francorchamps. And away we go in the TT, terrible off the line, so we've already dropped right to the back. We're in 14 out of 15 people. Nice full lobby, everyone going into the Source hairpin with a bit of respect for each other. No one ploughing it down the inside. And here we go, we're 4 wide as we come onto the straight here. I'm thinking, do not put me in the wall, do not put me in the wall. There we go, I get touched, a little bit of contact, 4 wide, it's to be expected I guess, and I get put in the wall a little bit. Gives me a run side by side with Jambo on the exit of Radion. I'm now looking to make any kind of opportunity into the heavy braking zone for the next chicane. The Lecombe chicane, is it? I could be wrong with that, I'm terrible with my circuit names and corner names. So this car ghosted on the inside there. I was unsighted, so I saw him at the last second. Even though he was ghosted, I still reacted to it. Tried to get out of the way just in case he unghosted in front of me. Guys in front bunching up a little bit. We've got Rafa, Shu, McDaddy all side by side. So here I actually end up getting 2 cars through that corner. We'll go back and watch that, and then this corner as well. So this was a particularly proud moment. I hadn't done this for a long time in racing. So on lap 1, in 2 corners, I managed to go past 4 cars there. So we'll go back and watch that again. So a bit bunching up in front, which slows the guys down. I look for any kind of space I can. I decide to go to the inside because these guys are going a little bit slow. I've got the run on them. Find a little bit of a gap at the apex. Don't make any contact, and I managed to just stay down the inside and get past 2 around the outside there. And then there's just a little gap develops in the middle. I did touch Rafa, didn't punt him off, but did knock him onto the curb a little bit, which allowed me just a little run on him to be able to get through. So I just got 4 cars in 2 corners. Absolutely unbelievable. I was loving it at the time. I was thinking, how the hell have I just managed that? I'm not going to complain, but wow. So carrying on lap 1, we're still on the opening lap. I started in 13th, I'm now in 8th place. And I've had a good old run through the first part of the lap. Let's see how we can close this one out. Look for the inside on Quinn. He spots me at the last second. It looked like we made contact there because Quinn had a little moment of oversteer, but he just corrected because he spotted me at the last moment down the inside. And that actually allowed Shu through with me as well. So we both got through there on Quinn. Shu, I think his name's Vinny, he's right on my tail, and he follows every single move that I do more or less through the field. He's looking for the inside here, he goes deep on the brakes in the Scirocco. Gold doesn't see him coming, turns into the apex, rightfully so. But he does find the Scirocco Shu down the inside, banging his door. A little bit of argy-bargy on the exit, going side by side through that chicane, never an easy thing to do, so a little bit of contact here and there. And Shu ends up dropping back and losing the momentum a little bit, which allows me to try and get onto the back of Nick. He goes a little deep into the Source hairpin on the second lap, which again allows me to get right onto the back of him now, and now I've got the tow through Eau Rouge and Radion and down the long straight Here we go, keep it nice and tidy over the curbs, just a little lift to gather it up on the steering. You do get a bit of understeer in the TT through Eau Rouge if you just go flat out, and you do risk picking up a penalty over the curbs if you do. So again, looking to the inside, and here's another double overtake. So this is my third double overtake in this race. Just managed to get past Goldie before the corner and then keep the inside and just work some kind of magic. I'm not even sure how I managed it, but worked it side by side with Nick through the corners and just pipped him ahead to come out ahead in front in 5th place now. So that, like I say, massively excited at this point. I was screaming and cheering to myself, going, go on, because yeah, like I said, that's my third double overtake in this race. It's not often you get a double overtake full stop. I've done 3 in one race and it's only lap 2. So yeah, hence the replay. Picking up a little penalty as I cut the track somewhere along the way. I'm not quite sure where I actually managed to get that from, but it's only half a second, so it's not the end of the world. And now I am setting my sights on Les in front. It just goes really slow through the right hander there. Allows me to pull right up to the back of him straight away. Looked like I didn't have any room to make a move there, but just about got through the corner and able to lean on the tyre a little bit more, pull over to the right hand side and gain a little bit of a gap just to pull through on Les pants. So that's Les dispatched off for now. As you can see, I'm not worried about my penalty at the moment, but we do try and lose it a little later. There we go, I lost the penalty into there, which allows Les back through. And then we just try the undercut, so take the opposite line to Les on the exit of the last corner. Hard, tricky chicane to get the power down out of, and we make it work. Les hasn't really got the pull on me to be able to have a dive into T1, so that's me pretty secure now in 4th. I need to just try and pull away from Les and catch the guys in front now. So a lot of action on the opening laps, and now the race is changing slightly. Now it's a bit of a chase the guy in front and see if he can close in the time with just good laps. Changes a little bit. We'll skip up the camera angles. Hopefully you enjoyed those first opening laps. So I certainly did, and it's been good watching it back as well. I could not believe it at the time. Like I say, nothing absolutely amazing, just the amount of double overtakes I got. I don't think I've ever done that. 3 double overtakes in one race. There'll be one to remember that. So here we go. I've got a bit of a train with Les and Shu behind me. I'm just trying to work my way up to the cars in front. Got this as well. Shoot down the inside on Les. Gets it done nicely before the corner as well. Manages to pull across and take the full racing line into it. So up front now we've got Pilgrim in 3rd. Pete Meister, Pete Mister, 1987, nearly the same age as me, 2 years younger, in 2nd, and then Mental Nev in 1st, sorry. So I'm not actually overly familiar with everyone in this lobby, but I kind of recognise everyone's name, but I might not have raced against them a huge amount, but I'm pretty sure everyone's raced in a league or 2. And everyone's got a good bit of pace and experience between them. But yeah, that's where I recognise quite a few of the names from the MRC GTTCC, which is a brilliant championship. I've not done it for a while, but I'm looking to get back into it this coming season when it starts up again. Never heard of the MRC? Go check them out on Facebook, the Mature Racing Club. Especially if you're into your Gran Turismo leagues, they certainly run a league or 2. So there we go, Pilgrim Paddock. We're just a little bit of an incident. We'll go back and I don't want to make this replay too long, so I won't go back and watch everything again, but we'll see how it happened from my onboard. So just when I went a little, I remember this, I went a little deep on the brakes, but he just went that little bit deeper, so I thought, oh God, I've screwed it up here, but unfortunately for Pilgrim, unfortunately for me, he went even deeper on the brakes, overshot the corner more than I did, and it just gave me the room to get through, so no major work to be done for that overtake. Now I have my sights set on Pete Meister, but I do realise now these guys are not slow, so I've got to put in the work and the laps and keep it nice and tidy. Going defensive now as well, as Pilgrim's got the slipstream coming back on me, overshoots it a little bit on the outside, allows me just to concentrate on hitting the second apex through the chicane and taking the line back. And Pilgrim now, with that little bit of a mistake on the brakes, has dropped himself back to shoot and given me a little bit less pressure, so I can now concentrate fully on Pete again and try and get those lap times to close him in. A little bit wide through the apex there, run me a little bit wide on the exit curb. I always struggle with this corner. I turn in too early, I know what I do wrong, but if I turn in late I always miss the apex. One of my weaknesses on Spa is that corner. I always struggle through it a little bit. Don't get me wrong, I can get through it, but I'm never massively confident or fast through it. And this is where the TT comes alive. If you look, just catching the GTR corner after corner, TT is just brilliant in that sector. The front end grip just helps it so much to get turned in, so long as you're not too fast and creating your own oversteer. The grip on the TT is phenomenal at the front end. You just got to drive it within its grip limit to be able to use it. So we're slowly catching Pete Meister. We've done the hard work through the corners to get somewhere near a slipstream down the long section there and down the next straight, and then into the Lusos hairpin to start lap 5. Let's see. So I'm looking good here, nice and close. I actually try and send him a bit of a dummy there. So I looked to the inside, tried to confuse him, went back to the outside to actually take the racing line, and I think I did confuse him. He kind of didn't know where to be, and he went kind of to the inside at the last second, ruined his own line through the corner, which just gave me the chance to basically, like I said, I dummied him to the inside, making him think I was going to go for an overtake, went back to the outside so I could actually carry the full race pace through that corner, and confused him a bit in the process, which allowed me just to get through. He actually had a penalty, so he slows down a little bit there as well behind me, even though he was in the slipstream catching me, and that just allows me to get away. So I'm now in the position in second, and we have Mental Nev, one more person to catch up. I will remind you, I'm not one to blow my own trumpet, but I did start in 13th, so a particularly good race this for me. Not every race goes as well as this, and the opening couple of laps just worked perfectly in my favour. I just seemed to find the gap when it was there and managed to get through. So from 13th into second, and I've got my work put out now to try and catch Nev. Can't remember what the gap is, I'm not sure. Can I see the gap? Let's have a look. So at the moment, is that actually up to date? Yeah, 20, yeah, so I'm lapping about half a second quicker on the last lap than Nev, so I am catching him. So yeah, oh sorry, I couldn't find the gap. It's there staring me right in the face, but I couldn't see the gap. It's 5.6 seconds is the gap to Mental Nev in front. Mental Nev again, raced against him a few times. Don't think I've ever really raced against him in a proper league, but certainly bumped into him once or twice in these little events that go on. And he's always been quite impressive. He's not slow. He's someone who I instantly see and think, all right, this is going to be tricky to get anywhere near the top positions. When you see some of these names, you start basically you start ordering yourself and kind of judging where you might finish, and when you look through some of these grids, hitting the limiter there in fourth, when you look through some of these grids, I do honestly think that, I think, God, I've got my work cut out to get a decent result here. There's some really quick drivers in here. I remember in the NRC a couple of seasons ago, I managed to get myself to Fusion, and it was a bit like that, looking through that. You've looked through the driver names and you thought, Jesus Christ, any person out of 16 people on this grid, any single one of them you felt could win a race or win the championship. And it was only as we went through the championship that you started to see the strengths and weaknesses between each driver, and started to be able to pick out a favourite a little bit more. But just looking at the list at the beginning, you're thinking, Jesus Christ, any one of us could win this championship. Every single one of us is more than capable. So, yeah, it's good to see some of these drivers still at it, and good to bump into them from time to time in these lobbies. Anyway, waffling on, just killing a bit of time whilst I'm driving around the moon. We will skip forward a little bit just for the interest of keeping it a bit shorter than it needs to be, really. So, I do slowly but surely reel in mental nev. We'll get to the point where I'm a little bit closer. I can see him in the distance there. Roughly about the same as before. I think at some point mental nev had a little bit of an incident somewhere, because the gap went from 5 seconds to 3 seconds. So there's definitely a little issue somewhere for him. The gap at the moment down to 5 seconds now. Just trying as hard as I can to put in as fast a laps as I can, but at the same time not trying to brake mega late and risking it all through every single corner. So looking for that fine balance of, I know I can get the car stopped, but I'm pretty much as late as I can be on the brakes to get a decent pace out of the lap, but not too late, so you're never putting yourself in any danger of losing time. So up ahead we see a penalty just flash up for mental nev, and this penalty now makes a huge difference. This started getting quite exciting from this point. So I was catching him, I was bringing the gap down, and Nev's picked up that penalty, which obviously gives me some hope. I've got no penalty, so Nev has to lose a bit of time to make guaranteed now, as well as me catching some time up on him. So from this point on it starts to get pretty interesting, from my point of view anyway. Really quite happy in this race as well. I've done as well as I had, because this was the second race of the night, and in the first race I certainly wasn't the fastest on track. There was plenty of people with pace out there, so I felt like I came into my own, and I don't know how or why, but I just drove really well in this race and pulled out of the bag. But yeah, the last race I was battling with quite a few people, so I certainly didn't feel like I had the pace over everybody. But Spa did just seem to lend itself to me last night. So here we go. Let's have a look at the gap now. We're certainly visually getting closer now. The bumper of the car in front a lot closer. The gap down to 2 seconds now. It's gone from 5 to 2 seconds. And we've got mental nev still with this penalty as well. He's not lost it yet. We can just about see it's 0.4 of a second. He's got to lose 4 tenths. I actually felt like I cut that curb a little bit too much over the bottom of Eau Rouge there, so I was waiting for a penalty up here, but luckily I got away with it. So I'm not quite, I might just about be in the distance slipstream now, but not in the real toe-toe that'll drag you up really quickly. Still setting purple sectors, which is good to see. But I'm on it here. I'm trying. My last lap as well, a 2:25.2 is the fastest lap of the race so far out of everybody, which was again a result of me just trying to claw this time in and putting some real effort into trying to catch up to Mental Nev. Not wanting to just sitting there for second place. I knew it was going to be hard though, and I didn't know if I could do it or not. I just had to keep trying. Nev again, who's not just giving me time on every corner, so I'm having to do the work to catch him. Felt like I went a little bit deep into there, but then just hammered on the brakes and got the line back to make the second part of the chicane a little nicer. Otherwise I would have been on a bad line all the way through. Just a little moment to pick up on, not huge mistakes, but moments where I've perhaps got the turning point wrong or missed the correct line through the corner to give myself the best exit or whatever, and really do pick up on those as I watch more and more of my own racing again. And they're all tiny little mistakes that lose time at the end of the day. I know they're not huge, not going flying off track and hitting the barriers every 2 seconds, but look at that cut there. So over that first part of the last chicane, I cut the corner, but so did Nev in front of me. So we now both have a penalty, and we've both got the same penalty. So the balance has switched again. So I had the advantage over Mental Nev with him being in front, me catching him up and him having the penalty, knowing that he'd have to lose a bit of time. I was always going to catch him up even more, but now we're equal. So it's a straight race now. I need to literally catch him. I actually felt like I played this really well when I lost my penalty. So we've both got rid of 3/10 of our penalty. Just looking to sit in the slipstream and get as close as possible through the remainder of the lap. But I go for the penalty here, so I lose my penalty there. Well, lost the majority of it. I'm down to a 10th left, and I didn't really lose any time on Mental Nev, so I thought that was quite smart. I'm about the same distance away I was, but I've got less penalty than him now, so playing a little bit of a strategy on him to get rid of this penalty. Again, not too far away, and he's got 6 attempts to lose over me. We're on the final lap now as well, so it's all to do, and it's how this plays out, which made it an exciting end for myself. Will I do it? Will he lose that penalty? What is actually going to happen? Is he going to take the penalty to the line and just hope he's a second in front of me? How is it going to work? So at the moment he's showing no signs of trying to get rid of it, and I've just got to get closer and closer, assuming that he's not going to lose his penalty. I didn't know what he was going to do. Again, just trying to carry the speed, try and carry as much speed as possible through those corners to get on his bumper up here to get the slipstream. And here we go. Catching him. I've got to lose this penalty now. Look, so I've lost it, I've backed off, I've sacrificed it. This was a risk. So I thought, right, I've lost the penalty, but look at the gap that I've just created from me and him. But here we go. He goes and loses his penalty here, so he's ghosted. I realise that he's ghosted, which just allows me to shoot to the inside, knowing that I'm not going to touch him, and just, as aggressive as it was, go really late on the brakes, make sure I get it stopped, and just make the advantage of his ghost. So the timing of his ghosting at the end there just played right into my hands, and like I say, not blowing my own trumpet or anything, but I feel like I did a particularly good job in this race. Just judging where to lose the penalty then played right into my hands for the win. And yeah, and that last move there, using the ghost as my advantage, so just diving right really late on the brakes to make sure that I was in front of him when he unghosted. So yeah, that was one hell of a race, and hopefully you've enjoyed watching that back with me. I've really enjoyed watching it. Thank you very much for joining me. I'm pretty much going to leave it there. Feel free to hit that like button if you've enjoyed it, and if you're not subscribed, why not? Hit that subscribe button. Thank you very much for watching once again. Take care. See you again soon. Bye.